Hey everybody, welcome back to Mama Zodi Tarot. Y'all, I'm super excited for this video. When I tell you, this gotta be one of the craziest readings that I'm going to do because I'm so tapped into the energy. And this is so wild. Everything that I've been pulling, all the bottoms of these decks, I wish I could just go one by one and read every single one to you right now. I'm tempted to do so, but I feel like y'all got to see how everything unfolds with this to see where it makes sense. But here's what I'm going to say. This video is about the music industry, the entertainment industry, the entertainment business, not even just the music industry. This reading I pulled, everything, this is about the entire entertainment industry, and we're going to use Alyson Stoner as our example and our segue into this video. So the first part is going to be about Alyson Stoner and her story and everything like that, and then we're going to move into everything else. So what I have is, did Alyson Stoner, have a shady deal? Did she hold back anything darker from her memoir? Because we know she just put out a memoir talking about all the, dark things, the darker side of the entertainment industry, what it's like growing up from a child, being a child actor. She was all in it, from acting to music, being in music videos. I'm sure they probably had her putting out songs. I didn't even check, but she put it all out there. So if you want to know more, definitely, check out the memoir or at least read some articles. I'm sure GPT at this point can give you a whole breakdown of what she said in the darn memoir. But go there if you want to know more, because I'm not going to go into exactly what she talked about, because I feel like that wouldn't be so much fun, because you could just read the book and find that out. But we're going to try to get all of the more interesting tidbits. You know how I am. Let's get the tea. So like I said, did she hold back anything darker from her memoir? Her truest intentions with making the memoir? What internal struggles does she still face? Future predictions for her, and then we go into everything with the entertainment industry. What is it like mentally in the entertainment industry when you don't have a shady deal? Can you succeed, and what is that all like? And then what can't you do? Okay, and then when you do have a deal, what is that all like mentally, physically, everything like that? What's your success rate and all that stuff? And then what can't you do? Once again, so that's going to be the trajectory of the reading, just so y'all know what we're going into here. I'm gonna tell you off the bat, when it comes to her, she's really trying to grow and evolve. I think her main struggle is the fact that she don't even like being in that industry, or being around that industry, or being around those people. So Alyson Stone is really trying to balance her mental state with wanting to really be an advocate with this meddler card coming out here, and really wanting to step in and be that influential role model that she know that she can be, to advocate for fair treatment and better treatment of the children and everybody in the entertainment industry. But at the same time, she just don't like being around them. With this retail therapy guru in reverse, it's like she don't even like being in LA, just being on those streets. It just does something to her. She kind of, with this journey in reverse, would much prefer to be way far away from all of this, living a totally different life and building a whole new life for herself with this finding fertile ground, steady grow fruitful. But she knows that she has to stay firm and continue and go on. So that's what we have for her. And then as far as this shady deals in the entertainment industry, boy, when I tell you, it's all about a belief system. Okay, that belief system coming out of reverse, and you have to attach yourself to that. And if you don't, know that your abundance is going to be suffering. And having this deal is not kind of nurturing, or kind of nurturing coming out in reverse. And when you don't have the deal, make sure that you stay away with this saying curiosity is a type of magic coming out in reverse. Yeah, don't be curious, don't ask nothing. And when it comes to the people that are involved, what their limitation is, and it don't in reverse, you can't leave, you can't never go away. So y'all already got the idea of what we're going to get into. Let's just go ahead and start, because I am super excited. And I know we already, 4 minutes in. I talk too much. Okay, so did Alyson Stoner have a shady deal? Let's go ahead. No. Okay. So it says, neatly tied up, secure, trustworthy connection, rising to the challenge, floating on air, advance, taking flight, uplifting, at peace with decision, not ready to get started, plans aren't fully formed, misdirection, recalibrate your course, blows up in your face, explosive combo broken, storm too violent, shelter needed. Oh my God, you guys. So it looks like, she had some sort of shady involvement, okay, some sort of deal that definitely didn't work out in her favor, that she thought was going to be amazing, she was excited about, she was at peace with choosing to do this, and it just went totally horrible. It blew up in her face. She didn't expect it. And like she said, storm too violent, shelter needed. Her home life was very volatile. She was going through a lot of things at home. So that was the main thing that was affecting her. And she just felt really misguided and misdirected, and like she wasn't on the right track and on the right path. So give me confirmation here with 2 red on whether or not this was like a dark deal. I'm talking about like a deal with the DEVIL though. Like, was it one of those kind of deals? Sorry, all these cards lost with me. Was it a dark deal, like a shady deal with the DEVIL? We have here, oh, it says yes. Was it the parents? Yeah. Okay, so it was more so the parents that got her into this dark deal. It was a shady deal. It was a deal with the DEVIL. Is this something that she's currently still, actively having to deal with and struggle with? Is there something that's still carrying on with her right now, ancestors? Yes. Oh my God. Yes. This is something that has affected her, that she's still currently dealing with this deal, because like I said, you can't get out of it. The antidote in reverse, there's no way out of it. That's the worst part. OMG. OMG. So yeah, her parents, got her involved in a dark deal that, it was pretty much out of her control. She didn't know what she was, getting herself into. She thought that she was really just going to be, acting. She was really excited about, her life and her career trajectory and everything, getting to fly around and travel and do all these different things. She was just excited about it, but she never knew that this was going to be, so disastrous with this explosive combo. She didn't know that this was going to be literally a deal with the DEVIL. Look at this fire here. She didn't know that this was like some ritualistic stuff, and, that the industry was so dark. Like, she didn't know what type of family and home she was actually getting herself a part of. So yeah, she definitely had a shady deal, a dark deal, and that's very, very unfortunate, because I don't think that she knew the details, because she obviously couldn't control it. She was a child, she was a kid, and her parents got her involved in this. And not only did she have to go through problems at home and a dark life with them, because obviously they literally sold their daughter to the devil. So of course they was going through drug and alcoholism and all that stuff at home. And of course it was a bad home life. But then on top of that, also dealing with these people, I don't know why I just suddenly felt like I got whiplash. So yeah, it was a lot of abuse going on in that home. It was a very, very abusive household. And yeah, she didn't get no shelter when it came to the industry. That didn't provide her no peace, no solace. It wasn't no better. It was the same old dark stuff. So that is sick and sad and unfortunate. Oh God, let's keep going here. What do we have? This is whether or not she held anything back from the memoir that she didn't talk about. Okay, so we have majority no cards here. So let's look at the 2 yes cards that we do have first. We have you get a lucky break. It's a successful venture, and fulfilling your desires, being refreshed, moving. So yeah. The only part that she didn't talk about is the deal. The only part that she didn't really explain is the fact that she is in this shady deal, and that things in her life were in a dark space, and that's how she even got this. But she's trying to move past that, which is fulfilling her desires, being refreshed, moving. She's really trying to move on from that and not acknowledge that, and try to wrap all that up in a box and just keep that closed off, because she really doesn't want to even acknowledge the fact that she has this shady deal, and that this possibly listen, she knows with this person drinking on this card, I'm thinking about her imagining, what happens to her soul, like what happens to me after I pass away, like just trying to stay positive, trying to stay aligned with good stuff, trying to stay away from the devil, trying to stay away from anything bad. Like with this danger lurks, best to retreat. She's really just trying to maintain a good, peaceful, positive life, a godly, high vibrational life, just not involving herself in anything negative, anything bad. So for the most part, no, she didn't really hold anything back. She talked about all the danger. She talked about how she didn't feel right with this feeling out of sync, not compatible with you. She talked about how she was manipulated and led astray, all the bad things that happened, stuff that felt wrong, all of the toxicities, drugs, habits, all that she was around and possibly was going through, just trying to cope, with the getting caught, net loss on the tail end of things, just how she got out of it, how she, is trying to, reason with everything and come to a certain peace, with all of the decisions and all of the things that have happened to her, all of the people that have violated her, taken advantage of her. She's really bearing all of her emotions on this. You know, we got starved for attention, empty promises, voided. So she's talking about all of the things that she's leaving in the past, pretty much, with the starved for attention, how she's not, you know, she's trying to leave certain things in the past. She's trying to avoid all of those feelings, and she's trying not to align herself with the industry. And she's talking about, you know, the truth about the industry and how, you know, it's not something that you should pray for and hope for. It's one of those things where she wants people to be more realistic and understand, like, this is what you're getting yourself into. Don't allow yourself to get caught up in something bad where, you know, you get a bunch of empty promises, and then you know, because they're telling you that they're going to fulfill your desires, but then it turns out to be something totally nasty and dark and disgusting. So that's what she went through, and that's what she's talking about in the book. And yeah, she's bearing the truth. Literally, the only thing she didn't talk about is just the literal fact that she signed that deal with the DEBIL, and like, you know, she didn't frame it in a happy perspective. Also, that's another thing with this. You get a lucky break, it's a successful venture. It's like the one thing that she made sure to hold back on is to not make it sound good, not make it sound lucky, not make it sound happy. She don't want you fantasizing about this or thinking that this is some, you know, fairy tale dream and something that you should hope for. Like, she wants you to know the darker side, the realistic thing, that even if you are excited and happy and you think that this is going to be amazing, like, sometimes you need to be smart and maybe move on from that thought process, because it's not going to be the lucky break that you think it's going to be. So that's what we have as far as the book, and whether she was holding anything back from her memoir. I would say not really. Okay, truest intentions when making the memoir. Positive in reverse, dishonesty, safe space in reverse, regret in reverse. Yep, exactly what we're talking about. Friendly, bad news in reverse, and imposter in reverse. So basically, she wants to talk about all of the people that lied to her, were dishonest with her, withheld information from her for their own sake, for their own benefit, how they took advantage of her. People that she thought was a safe space turned out to be really, really dark and using things against her. That, you know, people was looking for things in return from her, that, you know, there's certain things that happened to her that she really can't forget about, with this regret coming out of reverse. It's like it haunts her. You know, it says, I'm disappointed with the things that went with us, and I wish I could change the past in reverse. So yeah, it's like a lot of those things still haunt her, and she wanted to talk about that, and she wanted to kind of get it off her chest and be able to move on from the past and let it go. And she felt like this was the best way she could do it, because she didn't have a safe space with those people, and so the best way to do it was through this memoir. I think with this positive in reverse, it's one of those things where she's trying to come up from under a lot of the negative feelings and emotions and all of the things that's been weighing her down, which we will talk about next. But she really wants to bring like purity, and she wants to clear herself out, and the only way that she could really do that and return to a state of like pureness and happiness and peace was to speak about this and open up about this. And yeah, it says friendly. I come with warmth and good intentions, bringing joy and light to your life. So, you know, this was definitely open hand. She was lending a hand, because I do see meddler here. So she was definitely not afraid to get involved in meddle and say like, hey, these are the deeper secrets with the secret in reverse. Like, I'm ready to tell all. I'm ready to open up and speak about all of this, the way that I've been leveraged, with this leverage coming out in reverse. Like, don't allow yourself to be leveraged. So she's offering this helping hand to show people the hidden secrets, the things that they don't know, so that way they don't allow themselves to be taken advantage of and be leveraged and used. So yeah, that's what she's doing. She's being a meddler, and she's loaning the advice. She's being a real lending hand, and she doesn't want people to be distracted with this distraction in reverse. She wants them to be smart. So she's offering sage advice and a proper loving perspective, with love perspective and sage advice coming out here. She wants people to know that she's coming from a good place, that it says my wisdom is rooted in experience. Okay, she's been through the real thing. So she, you know, we should value her perspective, and she's coming from a loving place, and she wants to talk about all of the nasty, disgusting things with this envy and career. Like, listen, she's like, it's real dark. Okay, it says, I resent that you have what I most desire, so I belittle your successes to make myself look better. She's saying, don't resent any of that. Don't resent my career. Do not feel any type of way about my career, or feel like this is something that you should aspire to, or feel envious towards that somebody else has, because this is all going to be bad news, with bad news coming out of reverse. She wanted to release all of this stuff, because she felt like, listen, I can't hold this back anymore. She didn't care if it was going to come off bad. It was like she had to share this. She had to be open. With this imposter in reverse, she couldn't hold it back no more. It says, I'm not who you think I am. So she had to be authentic. She had to share her truth and share her honesty with the world. And, you know, she was just like, listen, you think that this is all fun and games with amusement? You think it's going to be great and it's all, you know, entertainment? No, this is something dark. Okay? And she's a little bit out for revenge. Okay? She's a little bit out for revenge because she's like, these people are, vengeful. They're nasty. They will try to damage you and retaliate against you for whatever perceived wrongdoings, like it says on the card. Don't be curious, but curious coming out in reverse. Do not be curious about this stuff because you will surely regret it. So that's her whole thing, is to be a warning message for everybody else. So let's see about the inner struggles that she still deals with now. Meal prep mastermind, overall mom in reverse, ghosting guru, chronic multitasker, trend chaser in reverse, parallel parker pro in reverse, and mansplainer extraordinaire. So she still struggles with speaking up for herself, still, advocating for herself, being, loud, you know what I mean? Like actually speaking up and saying it loudly and proudly how she feels, what she's been through, just really advocating for herself in all senses of the word, and really speaking up and being true to herself. Another thing with this parallel Parker Pro in reverse, I think again it further emphasizes with this retail therapy guru in reverse, and look, influencer wannabe coming out behind that. It's like she doesn't want to be aligned with these influencers and these celebrities and these people. She don't want to take pictures with them. She don't want to look at them. She don't want to be around them. So it's hard for her to not just park herself and stay stuck and stay trapped and really just not move forward and still progress and go after what it is that she want to do. There is a part of her that just wants to, just bed rot and sleep and, allow all of this stuff all of the overwhelming things to, get the best of her, and her just ghost her whole entire mission. Like, but she knows that she has to stay focused. She can't allow herself to be distracted. She has to stay dedicated. But that is a still current struggle that she's dealing with, is being distracted by all of the past things that she's been through, all of the dark things that still she feels are attached to her, like these are like entity attachments that are all still there, sort of wounds just echoing through her soul, echoing through her spirit, and it's hard for her to forget about it, especially with like I said, this dark shady deal that she has. She can't stop thinking about that with this chronic masturbator, about the day when the DEVIL is coming to collect on her, when this is going to happen. She can't stop, thinking about it. And there's a part of her that's wondering, like, what happened? Like I said, what happens to my body? What happens to me after I die? Like, when I become a ghost, like, what's all going to happen? She's really worried. And that's why she kind of just wants to leave and flee and go away and just be gone. Possibly not even, be here on this earth anymore, because it's just a lot for her. She's going through a lot of emotions, and she feels like she's tainted, she's damaged. Like, it's hard to just be real and be herself, and to with this selfie feeling coming out in reverse, it's hard to live, it's hard to go on. Listen, toilet paper hoarder in reverse, it's a lot of things that still haunt her, okay, that still stick with her, they're still sticking to her. That's what I'm picking up on from this. Like, it hoards her mind. She chronically thinks about it, and she's trying to let that go, but unfortunately she sometimes looks at herself and doesn't know who she is. With this this little ghost face thing here, I'm looking at it all wrapped up. It's like she's all tied up and wrapped up and doesn't know who she's looking at when she looks in the mirror. And she's definitely drained and going through a lot on the inside, and she's trying to keep it all together with this meal prep mastermind. She's trying to keep her energy of I'm fine, everything is okay, everything is good. She's really trying to keep all her ducks in a row and keep everything in order, her mental state. She really doesn't want to allow herself to be all over the place and be scattered. So she overly works on keeping her mental state together. And just staying away from anything bad with this trend chaser in reverse. Not watching the media and the news and the things that people are doing. Like, she avoids all that stuff. I feel like she mainly just focuses on being one with herself. Trying to get zen, trying to just be at peace. Doing therapy, doing healing work, just anything that she can to stay calm, and also doing the work of advocating to also distract herself. But like I said, it's hard when she don't want to be around these people with the trend chaser coming out in reverse. So let's go ahead and keep moving on to her future predictions, so we can move on to the next part of the reading, because we only 18 minutes in. That's not bad. I thought we would have been further in by now, but we did good. So let's see about her future predictions. We're gonna kind of read it in twos and groups of two in a way. Future predictions. All right, so for her future predictions, we have courtship in reverse with toil and labor. So future predictions is now she's not going to, work with anybody that she doesn't want to work with. She's staying away from anything negative, possibly, not even interested in too much of a love relationship. She's really trying to focus on putting in the work and the effort into advocating for, you know, these children, advocating for the, you know, these young people coming up in the music industry, and really doing the work that she needs to do to get, you know, I don't know if it's unions. Like, she really just wants to do the necessary work to improve the industry and make the entertainment industry better for everybody else, and the partnerships better, and stay away from anything dark. So there's that. And then we have the second thing, coffin in reverse with privileged lady in reverse. So I feel like, yeah, she's not going to be, you know, too much in the spotlight. She really is not trying to have herself too much in the spotlight. I feel like she's avoiding the spotlight. She's staying away from it. That's just not really what she too much cares for. So that's another future prediction for her. Just staying to herself, not really, you know, having herself all in the media and in people's attention. Just going back to the, you know, the hermit life that she was living before. Okay, like how we haven't been seeing her, I guess, for the past couple of years. You might catch her on social media making a, you know, a post or something like that, but you ain't gonna see her, you know, really doing too much as far as in the media and being in movies or anything like that, or being, you know, famous and in the spotlight. We also have thief and gift. So yeah, she's not going to be playing when it comes to the industry. With this thief and gift, she is really going to be working on bringing back, restoring order and balance to people's talents and their hard works and the efforts and everything that they put into their, you know, their life. She's really going to be working on making sure that people get the fairness, and she speak up about, you know, the unfairness. So she's going to definitely look forward to seeing more stuff with her and that. And I also picked up something negative off of this too with thief and gift, but you know, it's just sad that the things that people align themselves with, she's definitely still going to be worried about what's going to happen to her life, okay, and her soul. What's going to happen with her soul. So there's definitely going to be some karmic lessons that she's going to have to experience after this incarnation. Okay, we have mature man in reverse with change. That's interesting. So there's somebody that she's going to take down. There's somebody specific with this mature man coming out in reverse that she's really going to target, and she's really going to help us to evolve in how we view this man and how we see him. She's going to be part in taking him down. She's going to make sure that his image is completely tarnished, and that the way that he's viewed is not the same. She's going to make sure that that's changed. So yeah, look forward to her also speaking up about a mature man that did something to her, and speaking up about, you know, the negativity, and helping in, you know, changing his reputation, and making sure that she takes this man down. All right. So then lastly, we have unexpected income and occupation. So she is going to, you know, be very fruitful and abundant when it comes to this new work that she's focusing on right now. You know, it's going to work out really beautiful for her. And she's definitely going to see some fairness when it comes to her money, because we do have journey, unexpected wealth, and courthouse coming out. So like I said, she's definitely going to get her justice when it comes to whoever this mature man is that took advantage of her financially and things like that when it comes to work, and who abused her. She's definitely going to get her justice when it comes to this man. She's going to be taking him down and seeing him, you know, go down in a public eye. She's going to be part of that, and she's going to get some sort of justice. It's going to be some sort of money that this person is going to be losing with sudden wealth coming out in reverse. Yeah, and with this, the horizon coming out in reverse, this is going to be soon, and this is going to be as a result of this person's bad choices and all of the negative stuff that they did and things that they did to her. So yeah, this person is not going to be seen in high honor anymore. Okay, I cannot make it up with the lovers behind that. People going to hate them. Community right behind that. The community is going to hate this person and not view them as a mature person anymore. And along with that, we do have a mature woman in reverse who is along and a part of this, who was a part of this relationship and marriage, who's also going to be in a lot of despair behind this and feeling some type of way, because she was involved and took a hand in that fortune as well. And just so y'all know, this is also letting me know that from beyond the grave, somebody going to be getting their adjudication and justice. Okay, somebody who passed away, who's no longer living, who's now an ancestor, who was a part of this person's family, this mature man's family. This is going to be part of them getting their justice because of what this man did to her, with this main male and main female coming out here. Wow. So we got karmic justice coming from beyond the grave here. I'm not going to go too deep into that because we'll have to do another video on that, but that's what that's about. Wow, y'all. So now I know what the next video is I got to do, because yeah, we definitely see karmic justice coming for her, because for a fact, somebody from beyond the grave, an ancestor, yeah, they feel like this mature man took advantage of them too, and is responsible for them no longer being alive and not being here. So they want to get their justice too. So that's what's going to be happening. Wow. Ooh, let me move some of these decks out of the way, y'all, as we get into this next part, so that way we don't have too much in the way, so that we could get kind of focused here. All right. So this is where we're at with it. Let's talk about these shady deals. But let's start off by talking about, if you don't have a shady deal. All right, if you don't have a shady deal, we're only at 24 minutes. Yay, we doing good. Okay, if you don't have a shady deal, what's that like, mentally? Can you succeed? All that other stuff. So this is what it's like mentally if you don't have a shady deal. We got worry coming out in reverse. So you don't even have to stress. You don't have to worry. You don't have a whole lot of problems and unnecessary things going on that you got to be worried about going on in your energy. Like, no, you're all good if you don't have a shady deal. You don't have to, be all worried about dark things and negative things. It says, I am learning that worry doesn't change an outcome. So, you don't have to deal with the unpredictability and the ups and downs of not knowing, what the outcome is going to be when it comes to this. You don't have someone else controlling you, okay? We also have friendships. So you have a lot of partnerships, a lot of friendships, a lot of good people who want to be a friend to you and want to help you and reason with you. We also have acceptance. So, it comes with a lot of acceptance too, when it comes to the community, when it comes to the audience that receive you, also when it comes to your peers. Like you are received well by the industry, actually, despite what people might say. If you don't have a shady deal, you are very well received and you don't have to deal with stress, so that's even better. We also have pride in reverse. You don't have to do anything prideful. You don't have to do anything against your free will. You don't have anyone else controlling you. You don't have to destroy your ego or do something that you feel like you're not comfortable with. Like it says, I love myself and I see myself in everyone. So you don't have to feel like you're missing out on anything and have to not see yourself in anyone to where you feel like, oh, I'm in competition with this person and I got to take from somebody. We also have envy. So you do deal with a lot of envy. You do deal with a lot of people that don't like you. Okay, it says, I am the same as everybody but with different challenges. So those people who do have those challenges, who are in shady deals, of course they envious and they feel some type of way that you made it to the top authentically and you didn't have to do anything to get your shine. Of course they're gonna feel some type of way. So you do deal with a lot of envy. You also have success though. Okay, you can't stop that shine. You can't stop that success. All right, you can't stop the love. It says, I know that there's no greater goal than to love. So you can't stop the people loving me and the people giving me all the shine and everything that I have, because at the end of the day, I got it authentically. So you can't stop people from liking me when I'm just being my authentic self, and people accept that and people like that and people want to be friends with me and, be around me. And then we also have judgment. Of course, it comes with a lot of judgment. It says, I understand that everyone has their own unique path and challenges. So it comes with, you having to see things that you may not want to see. It comes with you having to be around things that, would be against your better judgment, things that you don't like. Like, yeah, you're going to see people going down a different path and, doing things that's kind of crazy. So that's what that pretty much comes with. Wow, that was clear as day and that was beautiful. Thank you so much, ancestors. I really love the way y'all channeled that to me. Thank you. Beautiful. Okay, success rate. We got 2002, The Void, 2112, It's Up to You, that came out in reverse. We had Alignment, 222, that came out in reverse. We had 1313, which is Starting Fresh, that came out in reverse. 1551, Whole Division. 2222, so heavy on the faded and things having to just be in divine order. And if God had this for you and you was in alignment and this was supposed to happen for you, then this is how this happened for you. And then we have 5555, which is Clarity, coming out in reverse. So the cards that came out in reverse were these, right? Yeah. Okay, so with 2002, The Void. So basically, it says you have more control over your life than you realize. Learn to execute what interests you. Turning things around. It gets better with time. There are plenty of friends to make. So chill out, have fun, and open up. Go outside. So basically, this is going to be, something real beautiful for you. It could be very, very, very successful with this Void. It's like, of course, it puts you into a whole different kind of realm. Like now you're in a whole different ball game when you become a celebrity and you're in the industry. And like I said, this is when you don't have a deal. But when you go down that path, you know that you're going to be able to successfully avoid anything that don't belong. You're going to successfully be able to stay away from dark stuff because this was aligned for you. That's why alignment, it was alignment that came out in reverse. That's why alignment come out in reverse, because you don't have to worry about staying in alignment because this was destined. This was fated. God sent this and set this up for you. So starting fresh is coming out in reverse because you don't have to worry about constantly reinventing yourself and starting over and changing with the times and wearing a false mask and doing all that stuff that those people with shady deals have to do, because who you are is authentic and you're always going to be evolved. God decided this for you to uphold this role and to spread this message and to share yourself with the world. So at the end of the day, well, it's up to you coming out in reverse. It's not up to you. It's not up to you. This is divinely guided when you don't have a shady deal and you just actually become a big celebrity just based on yourself and who you are. That's authentic. That's God-given. And with hold your vision, that's telling me that is directly from the source. That vision is something that God has put in your mind, and it's probably something that you already did before. That's why they say a whole division. This is a experience that you already experienced in a past life. This says focus on the good and maintain your concentration on the outcomes you desire. It's time to put your faith and time into your ideas and pursue your goals with all your might. You have a beautiful, courageous, and brave spirit. So that's what it is. These people have worked hard. They're courageous. They have brave spirits, and they maintained the vision. They never faltered. They never failed. They kept going. All right, they believed in a higher source. They believed and had a faith. So that's why they're going to always be able to hold their mark and always be able to be on top. That's why. And then we also have quadruple twos, feminine forces coming out in reverse. So nothing is going to work against them. Whatever soul energy, envy, all of that stuff is not going to be able to work. All right, because they have humility. They're humble. They truly believe in this. This is God-given. It says you can do everything by yourself, but life is to be shared. Partner up with the right spirit and you'll become a force. Honor commitments and people around. Don't judge, listen. But this is coming out in reverse. They don't have to align with negative forces. Okay? They don't have to. They could do things on their own. They could do things by themselves. They don't have to align with other people to make their vision happen, to make it happen for them. They can stay away from dark partnerships and stuff like that. And then we also have clarity coming out in reverse. They don't need to hold anyone else's vision. That's the point. They have their own inner judgment and clarity. They know what to do. They transform. All right, with the times. It says you aren't a victim of circumstance. Rather, you are the beneficiary of it. If that weren't the case, life would be pretty dull. You will set yourself up for success in the long run if you are willing to adapt to this shift. Everything is working out for the best. At long last, you are accomplishing what you set out to do. Everything will work out perfectly in the end. So that's what they know. Everything always works out in their favor, and they don't have to do anything to force it. So yeah, that's what's going on there. Like, there is going to be obstacles and people that try to work against them and try to, make them seem like they're not who they are, with this clarity coming out in reverse, and try to muddle the vision and try to make them feel like, oh, you ain't really that. But it never works. Okay, so what can't they do? Let's see about what can't they do, because there's always limitations when it comes to these things, because like I said, they can't be curious about anything that they don't have no business being curious about with this page of cups coming out in reverse. They got to stay away from anything dark and try not to be too curious and try to mind their business and not be out here running their mouth. Okay, so we had the Nine of Cups with the Hierophant in reverse, the Seven of Swords, the Cozy Witch, and the Seven of Pentacles. So yeah, they gotta nurture what they have, and they gotta focus on what they're creating, what they're building. They have to stay in a constant state of gratitude. They always have to remain gracious. They have to remain selfless with the Seven of Swords, like really be selfless, and they can't be out here just not being authentic and not being their true self. They have to really always remain in a constant state of gratitude with this Nine of Cups, and remain ambitious with this Seven of Swords. And you see how this person is about to stomp on this spider, but then they thinking about it in their head, like, should I do that? Is that the right thing to do? So yeah, they have to make sure that they don't become too big-headed and have their ego in their way, and have their ego make them start to treat people negatively. So they have to just remain as kind-hearted and compassionate and real and authentic as possible, and be altruistic and things like that, and just really focus on nurturing what they have going and mind their business. That's what I get from this Cozy Witch, because this is basically the Fool card. So they need to mind their business to focus on what they got going on. Like, do just be cozy and be happy and comfortable with what you got, and don't try to focus on what anybody else got going on. That's not your business. We got the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. This card says, wow, what an abundant opportunity, but it's coming out in reverse. So they have to stay away from did y'all see that? Yeah, they have to stay away from opportunities that's not abundant. And yeah, it said with the Page of Pentacles, they have to make sure that they do the best with what they got. I always bring that up, that Mariah Carey line where she was in a club. She was like, I'll do the best I can with what I got. That's what you got to do. This card says, when life gives you lemons, make enchanted lemonade. So you always work with what you have and be grateful and gracious, and you don't be overbearing and egotistical. Don't be greedy with this King of Pentacles. It says true success isn't just about money, it's about happiness too. So they got to be great. I love the way y'all ancestors, I love being psychic. Isn't this just so beautiful how the cards just wow, I just love it. I love it, you guys, and I appreciate all of y'all. I hope that y'all like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with somebody who might enjoy my channel. But let's get back to it. I'm sorry. Yeah, so you just gotta remain, not egotistical, and don't try to be greedy. Don't overdo it. Don't just be super money motivated, because everything is not about finances and money. And if you have good luck charm in reverse, so just always making sure to, bro, don't do anything dark. Don't start casting those spells and doing nothing dark to get it. Okay, this card says, if nothing seems to be going your way, cast a spell. But that's coming out in reverse. They're saying stay away from all that magical, witchy, dark stuff. All right, any of that rituals and secret societies and dark entities and all of that stuff. They saying there's no growth there. Stay away from all of that stuff. Stay away from those dark bloodlines. Yeah, further confirmed by the sun. I didn't even see the sun right here in reverse. Stay away from all that darkness. Stay away from the dark stuff. Okay, give yourself permission to experience joy is what this card says. They saying do not give yourself permission to experience darkness. All right, do not, stay away from it. So that's the limitations when it comes to them. Wow, this is clear as day and beautiful. I love this reading, and I'm excited to post it. So excited. All right, let's see about the people who do have the shady deal. My stomach is starting to cramp, so here we go. People who have a shady deal mentally. What is going on mentally when you have a shady deal? Of course, Druid, protect your energy. We got Ra, share your gift coming out in reverse. Of course, Lilith, face your shadow coming out in reverse. Oh my God, Butterfly Maiden, beautiful change coming out in reverse. Adana, believe in yourself coming out in reverse. Shoot, all these cards is in reverse except for protect your energy. The only thing you get from this is mentally is the thoughts of I need to protect myself. That's the only good thought coming from this, that you know that you need to protect yourself, and you know that you have this other bloodline that is quote unquote protecting you and keeping you safe. That's it. But everything else is negative. We also have Avalon Priestess, Intuitive Awakening coming out in reverse. So basically what happens is a lot of mental unrest, a lot of mental confusion. You got people doing spell work on you, so you don't always know what's going on. You're confused. You can't get the downloads. You don't have a connection with your ancestors because you were part of this darkness. You're not able to get, guidance from your bloodline. It's just all kind of darkness and dark guidance and mental confusion and turmoil. It's just a bunch of BS and nonsense, stuff that you don't want nothing to do with, okay? You can't have no intuitive awakenings when you're attached to this. With this Sedna, there's always enough coming out of reverse. Your resources is limited. Your finances controlled. Your money is controlled. There's never enough. You just always lacking and feel the energy of lack. You never feel, good internally, physically, mentally. Like, no, you always feel drained and you always feel in the energy of lack. You don't believe in yourself. You go through a lot of mental turmoil and confusion, like I said, because you got people trying to confuse you and tell you that, you can't do it. Like, yeah, they're trying to send the energy of mental confusion towards you. There's all kind of different spell work, you guys. So they sending mental confusion, confusion spells, just really trying to have them, not knowing what's really going on, just not aligned with the truth, deluded, just sending, delusion spells, trying to have them delusional, trying to have them bugging. Also, sending them, spells to attack their self-confidence and have them not believing in themselves and believing in their gifts and their talents, making them feel like they have to be protected by this bloodline. So yeah, there's a lot of mental turmoil and confusion with this. All right, you're not able to truly share your gifts in the way that you want and express your talents. Your talents is being siphoned off of. That's what I get from this. Your talents is being siphoned off of. They're draining your energy. They're sucking off of you. You're not doing no healing work. You're not able to face your shadow because you're dealing with dark stuff with this Lilith coming out in reverse. No healing work, no evolution. No, of course your shadow is not I said your shadow. Your soul is not evolving and growing when you align with this. No, there's no changes. There's no evolution happening on the soul level. Not only we're not talking about on the physical level here, y'all. Y'all gotta understand when I'm talking, we're talking about real deep stuff here. So know that when you're on this page, this is deeper than just the physical body. That's why I always talk about the soul contracts and the karmic links and the ties. I always talk about this in these readings because these things are important. Yes, you're living this life. But if you understand the life that you're living and why it is the way that it is, then maybe you can navigate it better. And that's the whole goal. That's why you align to God. That's why you undergo these processes of spiritual awakenings and you do divination and you do these things. And so that you can see, okay, wait, where was I coming from? Not to get stuck there. Don't get stuck there. Like how I feel like Kendrick Lamar is, where he done did this past life regression and he's stuck there. Don't get stuck there. But definitely go back so that you can see what lessons are you supposed to be learning in this life so that you can learn them and then go through the evolution process and you can heal. And you don't got to come back and deal with this again. And your soul can actually evolve. And you can start to see where you're going to become an ascended master, because I know I'm evolving. I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. So it ain't going to be many more for me if it is anymore. I will be ascending soon to an ascended master because my soul is evolving because I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. All right, so that's just a sidebar, and I'm going to do, like I said, I'm starting a new channel. It's called Ancestral Echoes, and we'll really get into all of that. The soul contracts with, past lives, why all of that stuff is truly important. But I think that I'm going to have to separate that because we talk about too much dark stuff on this channel, and I don't want that attached to that. All right, so that's going to be on a separate channel, but let's get back to this. Yeah, there's no change happening. There's no evolution. There's no growth happening on the spiritual level because your gifts are being siphoned off of. Your gifts are being controlled. You're not able to really share your talents. You're not able to do what you want to do. You're always under, watchful guidance and eyes of someone else, of this bloodline. And, yeah, It's scary. You feel real scared. You feel like you want to protect your energy and get away from this because you just want to share your gifts and face your shadow and evolve and change and truly believe in yourself and know that you have all the resources and that it is going to happen for you. But it's like all of these people have the energy of doubt. All of these people lack self-confidence. All of these people don't trust in themselves. And that's how people was able to latch onto them and then siphon on them and capitalize on that and send them even more energy of confusion and manipulation. So that's what that is. Let's see about, the success rate with these people. Remember I said belief system came out in reverse on the bottom of the deck. Oh, look, and then we got karma behind that. So, listen, it's up or down because the only way I feel like to not really experience too much karma is to keep ranking up. With this belief system coming out in reverse, you have to keep ranking up within the bloodline to keep protecting yourself from karma. That's the only way. That is the only way. Like, only if you to get the material success and all of that stuff is to keep doing favors and to keep branching out and doing whatever it is. It says what goes around comes around. So you really got to keep scratching people's back and doing favors for them. And with this belief system in reverse, it's like it says go after what you want. Unique destiny, inspiration, talents, gifts, appreciation, and gratitude. So you can't go after what you want. You got to do what you're told to do. You got to embrace the path that they want you on. So yeah, sorry I had to pause for a moment, but there's a lot of bad luck that comes with this, with good luck coming out in reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4 coming out in reverse. It's all backwards. It doesn't align. It's not a good synchronicity. It doesn't add up and be exactly what you think it is. There's too many different factors. You have to continue to align yourself with the dark stuff, and that's the only way that you're gonna, have any good luck. Like, you have to keep constantly going down a dark path. Like, no, it says you are on the right track. No, that's not the way it is. People don't have your back. It's cutthroat. It's dog eat dog out here. You gotta be able to do whatever it is that you can. What does that say? Social skills in reverse. Yeah, it's like your problems is never ending. You have never-ending problems and problems with people because you're in competition for who is going to elevate and be the best, because everybody wants the highest social standing. Everybody wants to be known as the greatest and the baddest and have the most material success and financial success and wealth. It's sickening. I'm seeing commitment in reverse. Yeah, you have to align yourself to a darker commitment. You have to be loyal to things that are really dark, okay? That's not of the light. That's, you have to spread lies and, siphon off of people. Like, it says applying honesty and light daily is the fast track to creating a peaceful and meaningful life. So they can't do that. They're doing the opposite. Applying darkness and lies and just doing a whole bunch of BS in order to get what it is that they have. Like, they can't speak their truth. They can't be open and all that. Like, listen, you got to take a lot of risks. You got to take a lot of penitentiary chances with just taking chances out here. You got to do a lot of stuff in order to get to success. And you got to rub shoulders with the wrong people, I'm telling you, and align yourself with things that, wouldn't be cool. It says, when chances present themselves, seize them and do something out of the ordinary. So, listen, you got to do something out of the ordinary. I can't lie. You got to be persistent with this 12-12 and persistence here. It can't just be a one-off thing. It has to be continual, and it has to be a dedication and a commitment. And you have to always be showing gratitude and acting like, you happy for this partnership and, showing them that you really love them and appreciate everything that they're doing. It's a lot of cards that came out for this one. Dang. What is this? Spiritual awakening coming out of reverse? Like I said, no spiritual awakenings, no improvements when it comes to your spiritual health and your growth. It's none of that. You can't try to talk about nothing spiritual. You can't even speak about that. Remember when Diddy was on Drink Champs and he was talking about the night that they all had with him and Usher and all these different people, and he was like how Usher tried to bring up God, and he was like, don't bring God into what we doing. Don't bring God, like, you can't. You just can't. Don't bring up no spirituality and no happiness and no God into what they doing. They don't want to hear nothing about that. And with just one-on-one in reverse, like I said, it's no starting over. There's no leaving them. Right? We see antidote over here. There's no following your intuition and trying to move forward and get away from this. No. You have to keep moving forward. There is no getting away. Foot and boot, you have to keep taking those dark steps down those dark steps, all right? You have to keep moving forward down that dark road and keep yourself aligned with the bloodline, doing these rituals, being greedy, being nasty. Like, you have to stay a part of the bloodline. You cannot shed that skin. That is not something that can happen there. That is not a skin that you can shed or something that you can get away from. We also have compromise coming out in reverse with 0707. There's no compromise. This is not, something that they're going to talk about or feel no empathy. It says tenacity and freedom. No, there's no being tenacious and freeing yourself and letting go of what's no longer serving you. Like, no expressing your emotions, no getting no compromise, no none of that. Okay, so that's what that is when it comes to the success rate. The success rate is all dependent on whether you continue to do what you say and be controlled and not speak up and just shut up and be a donkey that's controlled by this dark stuff that you got a hand in. So That's basically what they're saying here. Yeah, in order to be, shining and be a star, you gotta be part of this reptilian bloodline, and you gotta be dedicated. All right, you gotta be happy about it with this heart. You gotta love it. It's gotta bring you your peace and your blessings. Okay, you gotta be happy and be happy to be friends with us. You can't even show even inkling that you don't like what you're doing, or that you feel a type of way with this octopus in reverse. You gotta always be open and welcome. It don't matter how over the top or greedy or nasty what it is that they saying you need to do. You need to be willing to do it. All right, you need to be willing to make that sacrifice with the blood here. Like that's what they're saying. Like, you have to always be climbing and evolving and making steps with them. So wow, that's crazy. That's the only way to get them new beginnings with that fish. That's the only way. So tell me more about now what you can't do. Pop it, poison in reverse, bone, trumpet, herb, lighthouse, shield, ear, cat, and key. So what you can do is that you can't go against the bloodline. You can't speak negatively about the bloodline. You can't speak negatively about the family and the bone. You know what this is about. They're saying you can't talk about the secrets either with this trumpet. You can't talk about none of the choices that you've made, the decisions that you made. You have to keep that real under wraps and quiet. Don't tell nobody about the choices that you made. With this cat, you gotta keep it real under wraps and sneaky and on the hush hush. Shh, quiet. No speaking about all of the ways that we're manipulating the masses and the bloodline, the way that we're trying to poison people and we poison other people, the dark rituals, the sacrifices, all the stuff that we do not speak about it. Keep it to yourself. The way that we siphon off of the masses and stuff, like they don't want none of that talked about. The way how they use their music to and use the industry and use the movies and the TV shows, everything that they put out to serve their agenda. They don't want us talking about the fact that they do that. And then we have Herb, like, yeah, they want them. You can't make any good choices. This is about healthy decisions and healthy choices. It's crazy. You cannot make healthy choices. You can't make good decisions. You have to be aligned with the darkness and be willing to make bad decisions and do dark things. That's it. You can't be no real good person to be aligned with this. You can't. Okay, and if we have Lighthouse, again, you cannot be willing to talk about it. You cannot be willing to shed light on it or speak about any of the negative things that's happening. You have to keep that under wraps. You have to protect the bloodline. You have to protect this family. Okay, with bone and shield here. You have to protect the family always. Then we have trumpet and ear. So yeah, you have to be promoting our agenda. You have to be putting it out into the airwaves, making people listen to the agenda that we want to spread and the message that we want to spread. Continue to promote our agenda and our message that we want you putting out to the masses. And continue to listen to us and do what we say. And then cat and key. The key, the big opportunities, all of that comes from just, the more you keep it quiet and the more you do things in silence and don't say anything about it, then the more opportunities, the more doors open, the more keys and things that you get to success. So that's basically what that is about. It's really not a kind and nurturing thing to be involved in this. You cannot be kind and nurturing. You have to be somebody that is dark. Yeah, I'm seeing Oshun, sweet success coming out in reverse. Ultimately, you don't get the success because your soul doesn't get the success. You don't evolve, you don't grow. But you have to be willing to do some dark things in order for your finances to grow. Okay, it's some unforgivable things, but forgive coming out in reverse. Yes, you have to do unspeakable, unforgivable things that people would not like. Okay, with this Aphrodite, eternal love in reverse. To make people love you, to make people like you. Like, you have to do unforgivable things to have that fabricated force, love and that fabricated force support from people. And you have to, do certain rituals with this eternal love. Like, yeah, you gotta do sexual. Listen, it's real dark stuff. And like I said, with watch your words coming out in reverse, you can't speak about it. You can't say anything about it at all. You have to really keep it on the hush hush. But for a lot of these people, this is a trend. This is what they're telling me with Hecate past life reading coming out in reverse. So we'll probably do, that's why I'm doing the past life readings, y'all, so that y'all can understand that these are past life wounds that these people carry. Wounds that they already have, things that they already been doing from a past life that they never healed, that they never fixed, that it's just a cycle that's continuing in this life that they never closed out. So you can't expect them to be good. You can't expect them to want anything better because, again, this is almost karmic retribution or a continuance of a cycle for them. For some of them, it's karma from what they did from their past life, why they getting this. And for others of them, this is what they've already done. And so it's just them continuing the cycle and continuing to, be cold and, like I said, align themselves with these secret societies and, dark entities and ritualistic stuff with this Pele Light of Fire coming out. So, yeah, a lot of them have already, gone to the darker place with this earth magic coming out in reverse. They've already been to, down there. And so they know what that experience is like. And this is nothing new for them. And going back there is just going to be, I guess, them going back to that same, with this joy coming out of reverse, hell that they was already in. and they didn't plan on healing those wounds anyway, but you are a healer coming out in reverse. Yeah, they never planned on doing the spiritual transformation and being honest with themselves and being truthful with themselves and really trying to stop allowing their life force energy to be siphoned off of. So it's all the same for them, and a lot of them are gonna lose their life and go be damned to hell, I guess is what you would say. A certain amount of eternity of loss that they're going to experience. But these people who stay focused and stay on the right side, nah, they continue with this moon to do the introspection and stay on the right path and stay away from anything dark. They're not going to have to go through no bad sadness, right? With this bloom coming out in reverse, they don't have anything that they have to clean up. They've done what they're supposed to do with this Nine of Wands in reverse. Like, they wasn't out here taking away from other people or trying to defeat anybody or trying to fight people and create enemies up in their life, and attack people and being toxic. They wasn't doing none of that stuff, so they're not going to experience that in their future. Like, they really just not going to have to go through that. Like, yeah, it's not going to be effortless, of course, with this Page of Wands and Ace of Cups in reverse, but they ain't going to have to align themselves with nothing dark. They'll just rather put in the hard work and learn the lessons and evolve as their soul is supposed to, so that way they know what they can do. It says your decisions decide your future. Okay, your future here and nothing else with this Two of Wands. So they understand that their decisions is going to decide their future here. You're going to be damned to hell or go to heaven regardless, but this is about what you're going to experience on the physical plane of earth, and they understand that. So lastly, we have the Ace of Wands, and what is this? The Six of Wands coming out in reverse. So they know that, it's important to not have ego, and that, yes, you have to be a big deal, but you're serving a higher purpose. This is not all about you. This is about lighting the way for, the message that God sent you here to say, and focusing on that and not allowing passion and all of that other dark stuff to distract them. So, yeah, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, and they're going to be all good and, not aligning themselves with anything dark. Yeah, they staying away from all of that dark stuff. They know that having it all looks different to everyone. That's what it says. So yeah, that's what is going to, that's the lesson, the karmic lesson for a lot of these people that actually do get it in the end and have a success. They know that, having it all is going to look different to everybody, and they don't have to worry about aligning themselves to darkness in order to have, abundance, and they don't have to go through all of these adversity and challenges. They just got to remain gracious and have gratitude and empathy, and continue to align themselves with the vision and all of that good stuff, even if it means them being alone and, not, like I said, aligning themselves with darkness. So that's what I have for this reading. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I feel like this was a really, really good one. I love you guys, and I will see y'all later.